So you made it onto World Star Hip Hop.
Yes,
Oh, Mama, we made it.
Yeah.
Mama, we made it.
Oh, shit, we on World Star.
World Star.
That's it. You look like Nick Youssef.
You knew what's up.
Do
you
I
knew
know
what was
him?
up. Yeah, he's a comic.
He's a comic.
You knew it was up.
Did you
made it to World Star?
Did you think there would be fights in the stands, or what happened after?
No. So what happened after? I thought there'd be both. I thought before the events and after the events in the stands, and also some crazy shenanigans like this.
Did you know about the beef that he had with Dylan Dennis? That Khabib?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you
yeah.
did,
The
yeah.
whole This thing goes much deeper.
I have a point of view on. I feel like Conor McGregor. I think trash talking is awesome, but I think he stooped to it. A new low in a way.
How?
Well, I think when you attack someone's, there are a couple of reasons. I know a little when you attack somebody's father and call his father a coward.
Yep.
And you start talking about his brother and how he got murked, and also, but especially when you start talking about his father being a coward, and you tie him to the Chechnya War where his father fought, and then you talk about how his father kisses the ass of the president of Chechnya. When you start saying that stuff, it puts his family. It can potentially put his family in danger. If you know anything about the guy who controls Chechnya and stuff, it was to me irresponsible, and frankly, I thought it was low, and I thought he was attacking. And I also think I have another thought about it. I also think that Conor, as confident as he was, I think he did some research, and I think he stooped to this level because I think he wanted to. He was relying on getting in Khabib's head any way he could because he knew that. I think he just realized he probably didn't have the skill set to deal with him.
But don't you think
That's my opinion.
by the way,
I guess what I'm saying is it was disappointing because I've really looked at it now and I was like I think as fans we kind of have, at least I do. I go, that's a little bit different.
let me ask you when
Just it's my taste. You know?
Let's go way back before we were watching sports, but when Ali was calling Joe Frazier Uncle Tom, and he was calling him a gorilla, but people
Frazier never forgave him for that.
No, never forgave him for that. Ever.
Yeah.
But do you think that stuff, even though Ali was just trying to sell a fight, and when you heard Ali talk later in his life that he had a lot of respect for Frazier, but he was just trying to sell a fight.
It's a good example.
So do you think that is too far also, even though Ali was just trying to...
I don't know. My feeling would be that certainly today that would be.
Yes.
I don't think Conor had any other options to sell this fight with Khabib.
Because he's a kind of there's
no other... It's all relied on, they're all relying on him to sell this thing. What are you going to talk about? Well, Khabib, you're 26-0 and really good and you can wrestle.
Yeah, you wear a furry hat.
Yeah, you've been doing this since you were 4, bro.
Yeah.
Complete terrible nightmare.
Yeah, go wrestle a bear.
Yeah.
What are you...
Good luck with that, bro. Oh, and your team sucks.
Yeah, you sound like Drago.
Yeah.
There's not a whole...
There's not a...
You're a perfect fighter.
Well, I will say this. He may have gotten mauled in that fight, but it did get to Khabib, and Khabib made a huge mistake and might have lost his purse. So in that sense,
So for me, and I was saying to Brendan earlier, where it all ends, and for me, there's not even, you got to drop the hammer.
Yeah.
Once you're paying public, once the people who come to watch and keep your business afloat, once they're in jeopardy, you got to drop the hammer. There can't be another thing where a fighter ever thinks they can jump out of the ring and do that.
Do you think that Khabib, ultimately, that iconic picture of him jumping with 2 feet, does he ultimately benefit from this, or does he ultimately does this?
I think he'll get around a year to 16-month suspension. They'll probably have to strip him of his belt.
They will.
But I think he's a bigger star from this.
Yep.
Good or bad, the Conor haters can jump more on the Khabib train now. Obviously, Russia, Khabib's huge. I mean, in Chechnya, the head guy, there's videos of them firing off AK-47s, while he's winning. So
I think it's both.
Putin called him apparently.
Yeah.
So do you think? So then. So first of all, because you had talked about maybe Khabib rides off in the sunset. So does he retire? Does he come back after 16 months with the rematch of Conor McGregor?
Well,
and does Conor get a rematch?
I think it depends how long they spend Khabib for. It depends how much money he makes on this fight. I think Khabib does get probably around a year suspension. I bet you. And so Conor.
What about those dudes who jumped in the ring?
Conor's already. They're all fucked. Conor's.
Conor didn't press charges on him, so I guess.
But one was a UFC fighter that he's banned for life. But they're also Russian citizens, so getting back in the States, they're fucked.
Right.
Those guys are screwed. But who cares about them?
Yeah.
The other thing is Conor already called Dana today and wants a rematch with Khabib. But Khabib's probably going to get suspended for a lengthy time. So I bet what you see is Conor, John, his coach, wants like a warm-up fight. Like, let's do a warm-up and then fight Khabib. So I bet you that he fights Nate Diaz next.
Is that a warm-up fight?
No, but it's a better matchup than Khabib, I guess.
Not Tony Ferguson?
God, no.
You don't want to fight Tony Ferguson,
I think
do you?
Tony Ferguson beats Conor.
Me too.
It's a good fight, but I think for the paydays, he's going to fight Nate, and maybe for the 165-pound title, he'll fight Nate, and then he'll fight Khabib late next year or maybe 2020.
So you don't think Tony Ferguson gets a shot?
No.
Does Dana White?
No, I think if he does, it's after Conor gets a shot.
Does Dana White secretly have any influence over the Nevada Commission?
That's a good question.
He could though, right?
By the way,
he might be able to help him get a shorter sentence, but here's the problem. Here's what no one's talking about. The governor of Nevada was there cage side and had to run out and be escorted by security. Like, oh God.
Oh no.
Like, he sat down and someone was like, dude, those things get pretty wild. He's like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like, oh God, this and have to run. Yeah. So now you're dealing with that guy's in charge. That guy's gonna have some influence on how long you spend. But also, Khabib's not a huge draw like Conor is. So they're usually Vegas like, dude, we need this money, so let's try and figure this out. You look at
who's the second biggest draw outside of Conor? Say if John Jones comes back, is he?
Yeah.
Rose Namajunas? No.
Get out. John, Brock.
Brock looks a little different nowadays.
He's in that USADA testing.
He looks a little doughier. He's not. I mean,
you still got GSP floating around there. But to answer your question, there's no one. As far as like
it's a huge drop.
Huge drop. You're talking from there's Conor, who can do more than 1 million pay-per-views. The next biggest is really only DC and John if they fight each other. But outside them, both those guys around the 400 to 600 mark. Then below there it gets really shifty.
So he's really like
dude. That's why he's able to have proper 12 whiskey on the mat. That's why they're partners now. They're promotional partners. That's why there's the video game Notorious Edition.
Do you know what's crazy? I was wondering why the interview with Dana after the fight. Right, they were talking to him about the fight, and when they said they went through the shitty and jumping out of the ring, but when he described the fight. He described it almost like it was still a Conor McGregor win. He didn't mention Khabib's name when he described it. He said Conor's name like 3 or 4 times.
See, I don't think as much as a mauling as, Rogan goes, he got completely annihilated. I don't agree with that. I don't think it was a complete annihilation. I would like to see the rematch. I thought it was like I called it as a dogfight. I thought the first round with Conor McGregor's game plan, they assumed he was going to get taken down. They went, control him, don't take damage. Did that. Khabib did nothing that first round. Second round, they started to get a little dicey there, especially when he clipped him. But even when he clipped him, he slipped, fell back, and then the grappling was an issue there. Third round, Khabib's exhausted. Conor takes over, wins that third round. Then fourth round's where it got super dicey for Conor. I didn't see it as.
I didn't see Conor connect with Khabib. Like, did he actually connect?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He had there was an uppercut. I saw.
There's a few uppercuts, good body shots. His tip, his forward tip.
I
didn't find it a mauling. Like there was no 10-8 rounds.
I saw it as a mauling. He took him down and just pounded on. The second round was
nasty.
Yeah. And I thought,
but the first round there's no action.
Let me ask you this.
Third round, Conor.
I believe that it happens again to Conor. Because I don't know how Conor solves that problem.
I don't think so. You know why? Because I think Conor fights again fairly soon against Nate Diaz and stays active. Khabib comes off after a long layoff. He's dealing with ring rust. And then Conor and Khabib
but how is he going to solve the ground and pound
Nobody
problem?
Has.
How is he going to solve that? Guys like...
but the thing is...
How did Chuck Liddell stay on his feet for all those years?
He wasn't fighting guys like Khabib. I mean, you're talking about
that's what it was. So the skill levels were different.
Too.
Chuck is good. Oh,
great counter wrestler.
This is a different kind of wrestling.
You're talking about different. How did Jim Brown run over all those white boys? How did Babe Ruth hit so many home runs off white pitcher?
Yeah, how did he?
Yeah, Babe, try hitting off Pedro Martinez.
Yeah. So that's just different athletes.
Different athlete, different time. Yeah. But he would have a better shot if he was more active, not the ring rust. I didn't think he looked like. He
didn't look like the old.
It wasn't
Conor.
a prime Conor. His movement wasn't good. He's flat-footed.
Did he seem a little nervous to you?
Didn't seem nervous. You didn't seem up for it. Didn't seem excited. Listen, you got $100 million in the bank. It's tough, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had $100 million in the bank and someone was like, "Hey, tonight's the night you get punched in the face," I'd be like, "Yeah, let me check my bank account."
The real fight, if you want to determine who's the best 155 in the world, would be Tony versus Khabib.
Correct.
But again, that's not a huge moneymaker.
But what do you think about that? I mean, God,
I think
by
Tony's
the way,
a complete
Anthony
nightmare
Pettis
matchup
looked amazing.
styles.
Pettis looked fucking great.
Dude, that handstand kick,
so weird.
the old Tekken move is the best. It was so good. I was amazed, and I had never seen Tony fight before. He just presses. He just walks forward. Yeah. The pressure
if he can do that against Khabib going backwards is not a great Khabib. So if he can do that and withstand from getting taken down, and it's a great matchup, man.
Yeah, goes in the rest.
I'd love.
How long
if
you
they
last
did that.
against Khabib?
How long do I last?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not letting him tie my legs up, so I'm going to be fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I figure you can.
Well, I keep my legs like this.
Okay.
But you know, Dana even mentioned that when they asked him about the rematch. When they asked him about the rematch, he even mentioned Khabib versus Tony would be. They tried to make it 3 times.
But they're not going to get any pay-per-view on that.
Be tough. No.
Only super fans.
I mean, but
Russia. Who knows? Who knows what the kind of rub off Khabib getting after being.
Did they say what the pay-per-view numbers were?
No. Dana says trending at 3.5 million, but I don't think it'd be 3.5.
I definitely think that this made Khabib way bigger. Obviously.
I agree.
100%.
That picture, the 2-foot jump out of the ring.
The weird thing is that this is the fucking irony of everything that we live in the world today. The mistake he made of jumping with both feet onto Dylan Dennis might be the biggest thing he could ever have done for his career.
Makes him a
it's
superstar.
An iconic picture.
100%.
$2 million.
What's the most they've done? What's their biggest pay-per-view? Do you have any idea?
Their biggest is 1.6, like 5.
Oh, so this beat it.
Nate 2 versus Conor. This beat that for sure. When I said I don't. It's sure as fuck not doing 3 million, and it's not because everyone's like, "Oh, you're a hater." No, I'm not a hater. Kids are streaming these days, so will it be the most watched UFC fight of all time? Correct. Will it break 2 million or 3 million pay-per-views? There's no way, because this day and age, you're getting millions of guys streaming it. That's why. Yeah. It's not because I don't think it's a bad product.
Nobody in Russia is pay-per-view.
Do you think the Pacquiao Mayweather fight will do more than 3 million?
No, God, no. Especially now.
Not now.
And I just got a thing. Pacquiao has to fight someone before he fights Floyd.
He's gonna be 52.
This was great because it was in the prime of their career.
Yeah, this is exactly when we wanted to see it.
When you see my back ripple and I pull myself up like a chimp 30 times while talking to you, why wouldn't I give that to you as inspiration?
It's a gift, really.
It's a gift.